Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the barometer and thermometer feature on your Casio Pro Trek PAG240 module 3246 watch. So this is a common question I get from people who view this channel, and they want to know how to use the barometer thermometer feature. So I'm going to go into some of the basics of it. The first thing I'm going to mention is, without even going into the barometer, you have the option to show the trend of the barometric pressure on your watch display, which I kind of like. Right now, this little green box is basically a box you can toggle a display for. Right now it's showing the day of the week, Monday, which to me isn't very beneficial. If you press the adjust button here, you can show the year, which again isn't too beneficial. But this graph here shows you the trend of barometric pressure. And this graph updates every 2 hours and on the 30th minute of every even numbered hour, which is a little silly, but what it's basically doing is it's showing you barometric pressure trends. And normally, if you see an increase in the trend, your weather is getting better, and if you see a decrease, your weather is going to be deteriorating or getting a little bit worse. So that's the first thing as far as just being able to look at barometric pressure. You don't have to do anything other than make sure you've got that displayed on your watch, and you can view it at any point that you want to. Again though, this reading that you're seeing here is updated roughly every 2 hours. If you wanted to go in and actually get a more detailed reading, all we're going to do is we're going to press the barometer button on our Casio, and that will take us into the barometer thermometer feature. It takes a couple of seconds, but what it's going to do is it's going to give you a reading of the temperature and the barometric pressure. And the barometric pressure is in hectopascals, 1008. I don't know if you can see that on the screen. HPA, that's what that stands for, is hectopascals. Shows you your current time down here. And then again, this is just your sound indicator. I've got the sound on my buttons, so that's all that's showing. Once you go into this screen, it's going to take a temperature reading every 5 seconds for the first 5 minutes. And then after that, it's going to take a temperature reading every 2 minutes. So if you want to really get a detailed information about your temperature or your barometric pressure, the best thing to do is just go in here and let it sit and keep updating. If you want to take a manual reading, you can do that by pressing this button anytime you want to, as long as you're in this screen. So I'm in here right now. If I press it, it'll just do a manual reading. Again, if you don't do it though, it'll do it automatically. There's a little bar over here on the side. You might be wondering what that is. If you look here, there's a 10 all the way down to a -10, and then there's a 0 in the middle. What this bar is this is your relative barometric pressure, and what it's showing you is whether or not the barometric pressure currently is lower or higher than your most recent reading. So that's why it's a little bit less than 0, as it's gone down a little bit since my most recent reading. The other thing I'll mention, as with any watch that has a thermometer sensor on it, I've got a Garmin watch that does the same thing. If you want to get a good temperature reading, the best thing to do is to take it off of your wrist, because your wrist temperature can usually skew the reading. In my case, I usually find it's off about 5 to 10 degrees. Take the watch off. After a few minutes, when it's not up against your skin, you're going to get a lot better reading. But that's pretty much it as far as the barometer and thermometer feature. If you leave it in this screen after an hour, by default it'll automatically go back to the timekeeping mode screen. If you're done, you've got your thermometer reading, you've got your barometric pressure reading, you're done with it, you can always press the mode button, which is your back button, and that'll take you back to the timekeeping screen as well.